इससे पहले भी 2008 में बहुत.
All right, let's in fact go across live now to the Chandigarh Air Base.
Our country faces a multitude of security challenges which require vertical lift capability across a very diversified terrain. Bases which are from sea level to very high altitude advanced landing grounds. The helicopter will give the Indian Air Force a quantum leap in terms of capability to transport cargo to precarious high altitude locations. The aircraft is one of its best in its category. Even though the Indian Air Force has been operating medium lift helicopters in the form of the Mi-17 and the heavy lift helicopters in the form of Mi-26, the Chinook with a ceiling of 20,000 feet will redefine heli lift not just in operations such as inter-valley troop transportation, transport of artillery guns and other heavy loads for the border roads organization in the undersung role, but also in humanitarian assistance and disaster relief to far-flung crisis-hit areas. The aircraft is all-weather capable and the state-of-the-art night vision goggles will permit all roles even by night. We have procured the Chinook with certain India-specific enhancements to increase the flexibility of the platform across the entire spectrum of heli lift operations, including search and rescue and air ambulance roles. Thus, this helicopter is not only with the Air Force but the military role, it's a national asset. The hallmark of the IAF is its professionalism and the existing experience of aircrew in operating medium and heavy lift aircraft. I am confident with this we will rapidly operationalize the aircraft in its envisaged roles to fully exploit the potential of these very capable platforms that will be a game changer in our heli operations. I compliment Boeing on having met the laid down timelines and I am sanguine that they will continue to provide support to the IAF as we operationalize the fleet. We have had a very good experience with them on the C-17 fleet. I would also like to wish the Indian Air Force team fair weather, happy landings in all their operations. Thank you and Jai Hind.
President Boeing India will hand over the symbolic key of the helicopter to Chief of Air Staff. CO designate 126 HF will accept the same from the Chief.
All right, these are the live visuals coming in from the Chandigarh Air Base, where of course we just heard Air Chief Marshal B.S. Dhanua, and at the occasion what's happening is that the Chinook helicopters are being inducted. Remember, the Chinook helicopters that can transport artillery guns in high altitudes and troops for action, in fact. And yes, these are the live visuals coming in from Chandigarh Air Base. The Air Chief Marshal B.S. Dhanua, in fact, just inducted the first unit of 4 Chinook heavy lift helicopters in Chandigarh, where these helicopters have been deployed. Let's go across now to our correspondent Nandita Dagar, who is there and keeping a track of developments on that front. Nandita, so important moment that's taking place there, Nandita, at the Chandigarh Air Base, and talking about the Chinook helicopters. Now, these are very important because these are advanced multi-mission helicopter that will provide Indian Air Force with unmatched strategic airlift capability across the full spectrum of combat and humanitarian missions. Very important milestone there taking place, Nandita.
Yes, Nancy. Just as the Air Chief Marshal B.S. Dhanova, the Air Force Chief, in his speech just now at the induction ceremony said that this will be a game changer. These are the heaviest, the largest helicopters in the world, and they are capable of lifting very heavy weights. To give you an idea, they can lift 10 tons of weight, and that means they can transport the M777 ultralight howitzers. These are the artillery guns that we have recently acquired from the US, and even other guns, Bofors guns, other heavy armaments, weapons, troops. So a load up to 10 tons can be transported with these Chinook helicopters, and they arrived in India last month on 10th of February at the Mundra port in Gujarat, and from there they were assembled and then they were brought here to Chandigarh Air Force Base. This is the 12th wing of the Air Force, and here they will form a part of the squadron of the helicopter squadron, 126 helicopter squadron. We have acquired 4 of the. We had signed a deal for 15 Chinooks, Nancy, in 2015 with the Boeing company and the United States. And out of those 15, these 4 have come, and the rest will come by the end of 2020.
All right,
Nancy.
All right. In fact, you know, this helicopter is used by the armed forces in 19 countries, Nandita, and this is also very important, you know, the induction of Chinook, because apart from boosting India's capabilities for quick mobilization of troops in higher reaches along the line of control and of course the China frontier, but it's also important because this is also going to be, you know, enable the landing on small helipads and narrow valleys as well. So that's an important feature of these helicopters, the Chinook, that are being inducted at the moment.
You said the right thing, Nancy, absolutely correct, because our borders with Pakistan and China are in mountainous regions, be it the line of control or the line of actual control. And therefore, you know, when we need to transport artillery guns or Bofors or M777 ultralight howitzers to those places, or heavy trucks, and these are mountainous regions, so this Chinook heavy lift helicopter is fully capable of being of deploying or transporting these heavy armaments, weapons, and artillery to our forward areas, our remote areas, mountainous regions. Also, Nancy, our strategic roads which are being built by the Border Roads Organization with China in Himachal, Uttaranchal, and in Arunachal Pradesh, Assam, you know, with these bordering roads which are very, very strategic, we have to mobilize our troops and weapons and armaments faster. Building those roads also requires equipment that is sometimes not available at the spot or in situ, and therefore to transport that construction equipment also to build these strategic roads, these can be very, very beneficial. As I said, the Air Chief Marshal summed it up very well when he said that this is going to be a game changer.
Yes, absolutely. It's going to be a game changer. Nandita, you just mentioned about how this is also going to come in handy. The Chinooks will come in handy in the, you know, in the delayed construction of the strategic roads and infrastructure projects on the border. And this is going to be very important, especially for the Northeast, Nandita, because, you know, and that's what we're talking about here, because the main challenge there has been the access and the want of heavy lift choppers there to carry heavy equipment through the narrow valleys, because, you know, we're talking about Chinooks here whose load capacity is around 10 tons, so that's a huge amount that it can carry.
Yes, and you know, we had the Mi-26 helicopters.
Correct, yes.
They were currently, as I speak, Nancy, I don't know whether you're getting live visuals of these.
I am, Nandita.
The religious ceremony is on.
Right.
The priests from the Indian Air Force, from various religions, the Hindu priest, the Christian priest, the Muslim priest, they are all assembled along with the Air Force Chief and the Boeing officials, the Boeing manufacturing company officials, and they are inducting it ceremonially as a religious, as a mark of, to give it a very auspicious start. And Nancy, when you talked about the narrow valleys and the 10-ton capacity, yes, we had the Mi-26 chopper earlier, but this is now very old, and we needed to replace it with a new machine. And this is very lean, and you know, Indians would remember the Chinook from various Hollywood films that they must have seen. You know, so if you have seen various Hollywood films like Black Hawk Down and other Hollywood films, even science fiction films and the fantasy films, these helicopters are the staple. They are always used at the end and at the climax when the evil has to be destroyed and the hero will triumph over the villain. So you can just get an idea of what sort of power they hold, not just in India but in the US as well. And they are being used by 18 air forces. Now we are the 19th one, and we will soon acquire the Apache attack helicopters also. They also from Boeing. These are the Chinooks. Are you getting live visuals right now?
We are, Nandita. We are. Yes, please go ahead. We are getting the live visuals.
Thank you.
Yes,
so right now, Nancy, you can see these 3 priests who are officiating the religious ceremony. To just give it, because we are Indians, we invoke God and the spirits and the cosmos every time we start something new. To give this an auspicious start, the Sikh Granthi, the Muslim priest, all of them are currently reading hymns and chants along with Air Chief Marshal B.S. Dhanoa. He's standing by, and just hold on, I'm just being told
sure, right now,
not use the mobile phone here, but I'm moving to a separate place, Nancy. This is a religious ceremony on. We saw at the induction ceremony a ceremonial key was handed over to Air Chief Marshal B.S. Dhanoa, the Air Force Chief. This is always when a helicopter or an aircraft is handed over, the chief has given a big, huge key. Obviously, it does not unlock anything. It's a ceremonial key. Now, when I speak about Boeing, we already operate operate a lot of Boeing platforms, Nancy. The P-8I maritime surveillance aircraft, the C-17 Globemaster, which is again a very, very heavy lift and strategic lift capability the C-17 Globemaster aircraft has.
Right.
And then this Chinook, and in the coming months, at the end of this year, we will also be inducting the
Apaches, right, correct, yes.
So Chinook, Nancy, let me tell you, it derives its name from a Native American indigenous tribe called the Chinook people. It was settled in the Washington state in the United States of America, and that is why they are proud and self-respecting people, and therefore this helicopter has been named Chinook by the Americans. Our pilots undertook training on the Chinook last year in Delaware in October last year, Nancy. And after that, one batch of chopper pilots have already been trained. Boeing has a contract with us, with the Indian Defence Ministry, to not just supply these 15 Chinooks, out of which 4 have been inducted today,
yes, correct,
but also provide their spare parts, maintenance, life cycle support as well, and training.
All right. Yes.
Nancy, if I can just put in one more thing.
Sure,
the decision to induct the Chinooks and Apaches was taken in the Defence Acquisition Council meeting by Defence Minister Jaitley, when the Defence Minister was Mr. Arun Jaitley in 2014. And in 2015, when Mr. Parikar, Manohar Parikar, the late Mr. Parikar, who just passed away, he had signed a contract with Boeing on behalf of the Indian government on 28th September 2015, and then of course after the contract was signed, last month they started arriving, and this is much ahead of schedule, and this is something that Boeing has also pressed. The Boeing spokesperson or the representative here at the function made it a point to actually emphasize that this is much ahead of schedule. They were supposed to arrive in March and be inducted by the end of this year, and we have inducted them much ahead of schedule.
Right, Nandita, so we are seeing these visuals coming in from the Chandigarh Air Base, these visuals that you are getting for us from the Chandigarh Air Base of Chinook being inducted into the Air Force, and Air Chief Marshal B.S. Dhanoa also, in fact, present there. Just spoke a short while back. Nandita, you were talking about this deal, with the India signing the deal with the US defense company Boeing, procuring 15 such helicopters, 4 of which have arrived and they are being inducted. Of course, this will be used to deploy men and machinery at high altitude locations is what we're talking about. And another, the Apache helicopters also you are mentioning, Nandita, the delivery of those will begin by July this year. The multi-role combat helicopters, Apaches we're talking about, just give us more detail, put this into perspective for us, how the induction of the Chinooks and the Apaches going to add muscle to the Air Force's firepower?
Yes, Nancy, we know that our attack capabilities in the mountains needed a boost, and especially with our borders with our neighbors, Pakistan and China, be they the line of control, the Siachen Glacier, or more than the very long line of actual control with China, all fall in mountainous regions, and we needed an attack helicopter to actually not just operate there at high altitudes but also maneuver itself very nicely.
Absolutely.
Now that will be the Apache, and therefore it will be providing a capability to the attack helicopters, because it will be equipped with modern gunships, these are modern gunships which can be used not just in times of battle but also small conflicts as well. Talking about the Chinook, the ceremony of which is going on right now, Nancy, the Chinook, if you can remember the raid on Abbottabad by the Americans to kill Osama bin Laden.
Yes.
In that a Chinook was used.
Okay.
You must be remembering that, Nancy, because a lot of people would be reminded that the Chinook was used at the Abbottabad compound when the Americans carried out that covert black operation to to kill and neutralize Osama bin Laden at Abbottabad, about barely 20 kilometers from Islamabad in Pakistan.
All right.
Currently, the Air Force Chief is touring the Chinook helicopters. He has entered from the bay behind. He's entered along with the Boeing, inspected there, inspecting it. And we are coming to the fag end of the induction ceremony here at Chandigarh of the 4 Chinook heavy lift helicopters into the Indian Air Force.
Right, Nandita, just before we come to the fag end of the induction ceremony and before we wind up this conversation with you, just for better understanding, Nandita, now the first unit of these new choppers, of course, being raised in Chandigarh, just help us understand as to what area really will they be taking care of. Are we given to understand that they'll be taking care of operations along the western and the northern fronts? The second unit, of course, will come later. The first unit, talking about the first unit, Nandita, the areas that the operations that these Chinooks, the 4 Chinooks that have been inducted today, that they will be taking care of, and the tasks clearly that they would be carrying out, which is suited for operations in the mountainous, as it is highly maneuverable, is what we've been discussing about, the clear tasks that they will be conducting, they will be carrying out.
Yes, Nancy, you can use them anywhere. I mean, this is at Chandigarh, they are based at the 126 helicopter unit. But you can utilize them anywhere. I mean, the old western border or northern border, you can, of course, move the squadron from one place to another. So in that way, we have flexibility. That is not an issue, Nancy. I mean, this helicopter is suited, the Chinook, for heavy lifting capabilities. So it can be shifted to any place. Of strategic roads which are being built in the northeast, they require equipment which is not present in C2, and to build to that construction machinery to build that will be transported by the Border Roads Organization. That is weighing more than 5 tons, 6 tons. So that can be transported by the Chinook. So it has multi-role capability. Also, Nancy, we have several accidents, very frequently in Himachal Pradesh, Uttaranchal, even in J&K, when buses and trucks fall into ravines and gorges. So, although we have not used them, but and I don't think it will be used for that purpose.
Okay.
To winch out that, it can be used, but for people, the rescue and winching of 1 or 2 or even 5 or 10 individual people, this will not be used for that, because for that we have the Mi-17, V5, we have the Chetaks, we have the ALH drones. They are used for heavy lifting, for loads above 10 tons, for loads under 10 tons.
Okay.
We use the Chinook. We use the Chinook helicopter.
Okay. Nandita, just a quick ask, Nandita, you just shared with us a short while back that Air Chief Marshal B.S. Dhanua is taking a tour of Chinook, the multi-mission helicopter, in fact, that has been inducted, the 4 units of which have been inducted, the heavy lift helicopters there at the Chandigarh Air Base. A quick ask, Nandita, Would we be lucky enough to see these visuals of the Chinook taking off by any chance right now?
No, Nancy, I don't think so, because the induction ceremony, we just had a today, but definitely the Chinooks will be seen flying at the air show.
A little later, absolutely. Yeah. Okay. All right. Thanks for that clarification, Nandita. Thanks very much for having joined us. Yeah. All right, Nandita, we'll have to leave it there and wrap up the bulletin for now, but we'll continue our coverage on more news from across the nation. But right now you were getting visuals from Chandigarh Air Base, where in fact the first 4 of the 15 Chinook heavy lift helicopters have been inducted there at the Chandigarh Air Base. Air Chief Marshal B.S. Dhanwa there was in fact present at the Chandigarh Air Base, and how these Chinooks will going to be adding more muscle to the firepower of the Indian Air Force.